Hello everyone, this is Bertina Amy here and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos. And otherwise, welcome back to my channel. I hope you find these videos useful. So originally I was going to go ahead and show you how I make my base for the seahorse, but unfortunately my local Dollar Tree doesn't have the product that I need on hand, at least not my local one, so I'm going to try another location tomorrow. However, in the meantime, I thought I'd show you how I decided to add more texture to this seahorse. Also, I wanted to make this seahorse into one figurine instead of two, so I'm going to go ahead and attach these two together. I originally off camera tried to do a layer of this iridescent purple, or violet rather, over top, and I was not pleased with how it turned out. It just wasn't, I don't know, there's something about it that I just didn't feel was, I can't think of the word or phrase right now, but I wasn't buying it, and I don't know, I can't think of the words, but anyways, so I decided to go ahead and combine these two together with glue and regular Elmer's glue and hot glue, just to make sure it sticks together. For whatever reason, metallic paints, once dried, it actually acts as a very smooth surface, so anything to make it adhere better is ideal, but I'm going to be adding layers of paint over top, so it should help a lot. So I go ahead and glue them together, allow it to dry a little bit. To help things adhere better, I go ahead and use my black chalk paint to paint over the area in which I'm going to add some more texture. And then I'm going to repaint it again with black chalk paint. Then I decide to go ahead and use the entire packet's contents that this seahorse decor came with. So there were 6 strands of the jute string. There's all these crevices or indentations surrounding the neck and midsection area of the seahorse. So I take the 6 strands of jute string and I hot glue and wrap around the seahorse within the crevices. And I'm trying to replicate what I saw in images of the seahorse's neck and midsection areas look like. And I wanted to add texture by adding this jute string, and I thought this would be perfect to not waste anything. So I wrap it around, and initially I go ahead and trim off excess, but then I realized I missed a crevice or indentation area at the very bottom or so of the seahorse, and so I go ahead and bring back the excess jute string that I initially trimmed off, and I attach it with hot glue and wrap it around. And it's not going to matter, I'm not expecting perfection with this project. You never should when you're making anything as far as crafty arts type stuff. Nothing's ever going to be perfect no matter what it is, so I'm not looking for perfection. I just want it to look really neat, so it won't matter how it's going to look. I'm going to take chalk black paint anyways and cover the entirety of this whole thing all over again, just to better adhere it as well as solidify it more rather than it being so stringy. You could also take a lighter to burn off the little strands or strings of the jute string, but I don't really want to do that. I'm just gonna use the paint to do that instead. And any excess strands that still stand out, I'm actually going to cut them off camera. Little tip on that, this might sound really weird, but I actually used a nail clipper, which I found to be a little bit more precise, where I could get closer to the product. Otherwise, if you have a tinier pair of scissors, that could probably work as well. I just didn't have any myself. Once the black chalk paint was completely dry from all around the seahorse, I then take these 2 paints, starting with the metallic blue first and covering the entire surface of the seahorse. Once dried, then I take the enchanted turquoise iridescent top coat acrylic paint and go over the surface all over again. And then I consider options for additional textured items to attach to the seahorse. So I have this ribbon from the Dollar Tree from the Easter time, and I decided to cut off a little bit and do an accordion style fold and use that to make the flippers of the, I think they're called flippers, of the seahorse. And I make one for each side. Something to keep in mind when attaching these items, especially if you're using metallic paint or any paint that makes it glossy once dried, is you want matte finishes so that the stuff would adhere permanently. Otherwise, it'll come right off, especially with hot glue or even regular Elmer's glue. But I go ahead and just test out how I want my seahorse to look, and then once I'm happy with the way it's going, then I try to figure out what I want to do to make sure that it becomes matte. I was debating between using chalk paint or using my matte Mod Podge, but generally speaking, matte Mod Podge is a sealer. I guess it's also a glue and finish as well, so you could do the matte Mod Podge. I probably should have done that so it wouldn't change the overall look of my seahorse, but frankly, for me, it's totally fine. I'm still pretty excited with how it turned out since this is my first 3D seahorse. I was also inspired by Steampunk, but for some reason, it just hit my mind to use steampunk pieces to create the area of the eye for the seahorse, and I had a lot of this metal gear stuff that I originally used to make earrings with, which hopefully will be a future video, but I decided to take some small pieces and create the area surrounding the eye, and you'll see that I'm using one of these pieces and it's got like a piece of metal through the middle, and I take my crocodile with the smallest setting and try to remove those two little pieces, or the middle piece rather, just by sort of punching a hole in it, and it actually worked. I did it first off camera, and then I decided to go ahead and do it on camera so you can see what I did. And then I take these eyelets to be inserted into the center, and I realized that I have to narrow the back end by using pliers, and I only do it a little bit at a time just so I could squeeze it through, and I push harder on the second one than the first one, but I made it work. And then I take my crocodile again and I go ahead and press it in so that it goes, flattens it and stays on there permanently. And then I have to attach it to my seahorse, but because these materials are more of like a gloss finish, I have to paint the back end either with Mod Podge or the chalk paint just so I can get glue on it to attach it to the seahorse permanently, which I do off camera. Stay tuned for how I make the base for the seahorse. In the meantime, this is all I have for you for today. Hopefully this has inspired you to make your own seahorse or other nautical figurine. If you do, I would love to see how it turns out. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.